I don't have bananas, chill out. I don't have bananas.
Hey, yo, guys.
All right, folks, this is Harris Sultan. Something is happening in America. I am noticing a major cultural shift in America. Yes, America is huge, and you can't deny the fact that America is also the world's largest culture exporter. So whatever happens in America, it ends up happening to some extent in the rest of the Western world and even the non-Western world. But there is something happening in Britain, and Britain is also teaching the world a valuable lesson, which is what happens when you try to integrate cultures that are antithetical to your native culture, i.e. Islam, in Britain's case. For the longest time, it felt like we were talking to a wall. No offense to our Jewish listeners. But after COVID, we noticed that people from the mainstream community, people who were not in the Islamic critique industry, people who were outside of that, they started noticing certain patterns, no-go zones, Sharia patrols.
Att kvinnor i Sverige får sina liv begränsade.
Det här är ju ett mönster som mest liknar könsapartheid, men som faktiskt drabbar både kvinnor och flickor i vissa förorter.
Titta här.
Men en grupp religiösa unga män har ändå hittat hit och stoppar nu tjejer på väg till festen och försöker övertala dem att inte gå in.
Man kände sig sviken. Mitt liv håller på att rasa samman och ingen gör någonting.
Grannar irriterar sig på att hon lever ensam. Att hon har hundar som enligt tolkningar av islam är ett orent djur. Att hon och hennes vänner tar ett glas vin när de grillar på hennes uteplats.
När man kom hem så kunde blommorna ha varit förstörda. Saker förstörda. Kunde ha kvinnor som kunde klampa in och tala om att här ska ni inte dricka. Jag fick höra många gånger att jag skulle skaffa mig en man.
Vem sa det?
Ja, blandat folk härifrån.
Kvinnor, män?
Kvinnor och män.
När vi jobbar kvällstid så är det ju få tjejer ute i miljöerna.
Vad innebär få?
Nästan inga alls.
Al-Azhar-skolans buss kör lågstadiebarnen mellan skolan och bostadsområdena i Tensta och Rinkeby. Flickorna hänvisas till dörren längst bak och pojkarna till de främre dörrarna. Forskaren Devin Rexvid ser en parallell till bussarna i Alabama i USA på 50-talet där svarta tvingades åka längst bak och vita där fram.
Jag känner nu att vi har förlorat mark.
Muslims creating their own rules in their own ghettos.
It's a Christian country. It's a Christian country. Yes, it is. This is a Christian country.
You're jealous that we're taking over?
You're not taking over. Why are you taking over? How are you taking over?
Mate, we've got it, mate. We've got it.
You've got it. Is that what you think? You haven't got it. But you've got people scared. You don't have us scared. No. You think you can take over town and tell us that it's your country? You've taken over. Not for long. See this cross? This will prevail. This is the British town. I'll come here where I like. I walk where I like.
People started to notice what people like Enoch Powell had said, that we're going to have towns and cities that would look anything but British. So he visioned it, he saw it, everyone shut him down at that point because, you know, the West was becoming more and more civilized, they were becoming more and more inclusive, they had just ended World War II, and they had seen the repercussions of what happens when you as a society become racist, i.e. Hitler. So they didn't want to go into ethno-nationalism. So overall, the society at large wanted to move away from racism. And then we saw the civil rights movement in America. Fair enough, it was done with best intentions. So they opened up. America being further away than Europe from the Muslim world, it was Europe that ended up getting a lot of Muslim migrants. England preferred Pakistan, India, Bangladesh because they wanted to somehow say, look, we're sorry, we colonized you. But now, since we have changed our worldview towards inferior races, then we can treat you as our equal. So Indian and Pakistani and Bangladeshi Muslims started going to Britain, Algerians started going to France, and so on. Our immigration policies were evolving. America still stood firm. We're going to take only those people who are going to serve America and who are going to integrate into America. So no questions asked. That's how it remained for the rest of the 20th century. And more or less in England and other Western countries as well. But then something happened at the turn of the century. Somehow Western traditional norms were challenged in the age of new atheism, and a new phenomena emerged, wokeism. And it's not just the new atheist movement. The world was changing. Technology has always shaped our cultural behaviors, and technology changed. We ended up getting social media, where ideas started flowing a lot more quickly than they had ever done before in the past. You had to read a book, you had to follow an academic, and then you had to extract a worldview out of that. And usually only the elite would extract a worldview and then implement it at a societal scale, like multiculturalism, for example. That term was coined by a Canadian professor, I believe. Our birth rates are falling down, so what? Let's open up to other countries. After all human beings are equal. Again, that was the idea. But as it turns out, that's not the case. Human beings, biologically, they may be equal, but culturally, they are not equal. People like to do things that they are culturally familiar with, be it cousin marriages, forced marriages, FGM, pedophilia, whatever. People tend to do things that they are familiar with in their own culture. So now, in 2025, we can see how badly broken the UK's social fabric is. And it's not just the UK, Germany, France, Italy, Austria, they're all, Sweden is the worst apparently. Sweden is apparently definitely gone. So Americans are starting to notice. Thankfully, Americans are watching. Not at the political level. Maybe they're starting to because Trump is very much in tune with the public. So luckily we have Trump in office and not Sleepy Joe. He would have just slept through this whole cultural deterioration of America. But thankfully, we have Trump in office and they're just about to ban the Muslim Brotherhood. Texas has just banned the Muslim Brotherhood and K. K is the worst Muslim advocacy propaganda group in America, probably in the world. They harass anyone who criticizes Islam. But something else is happening that I wanted to point out to you. Remember this guy? This mayor of Dearborn? This guy? More on him. Let me remind you why I'm talking about him. This guy had the audacity to tell a culturally American person that he was not welcome in an American city. Have a listen. This video went viral. Look at this, 9.2 million views, and I'm sure it has had tens of millions of views on other platforms, on other channels. It even made it on national TV, not just Fox Local. So have a listen to this exchange. This is a culturally American person. I'm not going by his skin color. If this was a Black American, if that was an African American, not a Somali American, if that was an African American who has been in America for many generations, even if he was saying this to the mayor of Dearborn, the response that he's going to get from the mayor is not appropriate on any scale.
I mean, Hezbollah, bombed the embassy in Beirut, and including many Americans. So,
260, I believe, 260 Americans got killed.
I just feel it's quite inappropriate.
You are an Islamophobe, and although you live here, I want you to know, as mayor, you are not welcome here. And the day you move out of the city will be the day that I launch a parade celebrating the fact that you moved out of the city, because you are not somebody who believes in coexistence.
How infuriating that is. Now, I know that people in Britain have a different culture, so they were more likely to ignore this because Muslim politicians, Islamist propagandists, Dawagandists, all these people have been saying far more inflammatory things than this in England for many years. But they didn't pay attention.
It is from our religion that we have to hate them for the sake of Allah. We love what Allah loves, and on the opposite of that,
We hate what Allah hates. Let's not beat around the bush. We don't love each other. We're not on the same page. We are not friends. Does that make sense? We are enemies.
Very simple. No integration, no multiculturalism, no diversity, no tolerance. I got my own deen, you got your own deen. You got your democracy, we got our own sharia. You got your own free mixing, we got our own nikah. Own cheating within the marketplace, your own credit cards. We got our own economic system. We got our own foreign policy. We got our own deen.
So like I showed it to you, just that video clip got watched by over 9.2 million people. And I'm sure it attracted tens of more millions of views on other platforms. But let me show you what's happening in America. I've seen many of these videos. Again, they may seem crass, but I'm sorry. I cannot wholeheartedly condemn them. Have a listen to this. So this guy, apparently he's a Canadian Christian living in Texas. So he goes to Muslims and he preaches Christianity in a very aggressive manner.
Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread and forgive us our sins as we forgive those who sin against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from his law. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever and ever.
So this happened back in October, and we thought, okay, maybe it's just a one-off thing. But then it happened again, just very recently. And I played it to you in my last video. Let me show that again to you. This happened near Epic Mosque in Texas.
Duck, duck, goose. Duck, duck, goose. I'm mocking your religion because you're bowing towards a stupid pedophile's grave who you need Jesus. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy...
Anyway, so this happened last week. And now another video has come out. I think it's the same guy. This time it's happening in Florida. I don't know if it's the same guy or someone else. Listen to this.
Every tongue shall confess, every knee shall bow that Jesus Christ is Lord, to the glory of God the Father. Jesus is Lord. Jesus is Lord. It's really good. Bacon? Bacon? Anybody? Under the new rules from the 12th Imam, you can eat bacon. It's halal. You can eat bacon whenever you want.
There's another angle of that. I think one of the Muslims is filming it now.
You can eat bacon whenever you want. God commands you to repent. Muhammad is a pedophile. You're praying to a man who's burning in hell. He married a 9-year-old girl, and you're gonna, Muhammad, I spit on the grave of Muhammad.
That's gross, but...
Muhammad is gonna...
Okay, I think you've seen enough. So, things like these, we don't see them happening in the UK. British people are much more mellow than, obviously, their American counterparts. Why is this happening? Britain can be forgiven because they took in a lot of people and they didn't know what kind of a cultural impact their society is going to have. So they didn't understand that. So they could be forgiven. And it's been going on for the last 15, 20 years. It's gotten worse in the last 20 years or so. Because when the second and third generation kicked in that were born and raised in England, they could speak the language, but they held this resentment against Britain, British values, Western culture in general. That's when they got confused and they didn't know what to do, how to tackle this problem. How do we deal with this? So they tried to cover it up. But then, unfortunately, they entered in an era when it's very difficult to keep things hidden, the age of social media. So people like Tommy Robinson and then ex-Muslims started showing up who started telling you that, hey, this is not normal. This is a cultural behavior of Islam. It's not down to individual Muslims. As I said, those Muslims who were being harassed by that guy, it's not personal, okay? It's cultural behavior. Yes, they're far fewer in number right now, but their number is going to balloon just like it did in the UK. It's going to keep increasing. The more Islam you have, the more cultural clashes you're going to have. It's set in stone. Have a listen to that mayor. They don't back down. They don't even try to hide it. They say who they are. They want to reshape America in their own image. And let me state something blindingly obvious that is not in line with American founding fathers, okay? He represents 2% of American Muslims, a tiny number. So in his eyes, he may be righteous, but in the eyes of 98% other non-Muslim Americans, this is a problem. And you need to do something about it. And this is why we are starting to see more and more reaction. I'll show you that reaction, but have a listen to this mayor, what he actually has to say about integration and assimilation into American society.
Because what you often hear that's accompanied with that is, well, you must assimilate. I shouldn't put out a magazine that's in 2 languages. Why can't you speak English? Why are my videos subtitled in Arabic? Why is my caption both in English and Arabic? People get frustrated by this. But to me, it's like, I actually disavow the use of the term the melting pot. I actually don't like it. Why? Because in a melting pot, when you're talking about like a soup, everything looks the same.
Right.
We're the salad bowl. The lettuce is lettuce, the tomato is tomato, the cucumber is cucumber, and they all complement each other.
So basically he's saying, I don't want to assimilate. I want to maintain my cultural values, my religious values, and just consider me as a lettuce in a burger, okay? Unfortunately, countries are not food items. Societies need to have shared values in order to survive. Countries are big. Societies are huge. It includes millions of people, and thereby it includes millions of tiny variables. And any variable that goes out of whack, you can have civil wars. You can have civil unrest. This idea of multiculturalism has never been practiced on this scale. Some people talk about the Roman Empire, and they say Rome was a melting pot of different cultures. That's true, but nobody challenged the authority of the primary Roman culture. Do at Rome as Romans do. They invented that term, or people around them invented that term. Why? Because if you go against the primary dominant culture in Rome, then, you know, there will be repercussions. And by repercussions, I mean getting crucified on Via Appia. So nothing like this has ever happened. Politically, we never held Muslims responsible. Muslims have to introspect big time right now. Muslims have to reinvent themselves. Muslims have to recalibrate their values, where they stand in the West, etc. Because the longer they behave and align themselves with these kind of Muslims, I have news for you. Life is not going to be easy for you. Because as I said, you may think that you're righteous in your ways. You want to reshape America in your vision, where America supports Palestine and not Israel, or America allows you to broadcast your call to prayer like this. You think that this might be an acceptable behavior? This is exactly what you did in the UK, and look what's happening over there. This is what a real American woman had to say about that practice.
But the mosques in East Dearborn are now at times waking us up at 5:30 in the morning with the call to prayer.
This is Dearborn resident Andrea Unger at last night's City Council meeting, stating that mosques using outdoor loudspeakers for their call to prayer should not be allowed, and says she believes it's not supposed to be allowed per city ordinance.
The noise complaints have been made out and the police have made numerous visits. What is the next step?
There was some question whether or not any outdoor loudspeakers are allowed, something that was not clarified, only that more evidence is being gathered. But CBS Detroit did examine Dearborn's noise ordinance and found that loudspeakers between the hours of 10 p.m. and 7 a.m. are in violation of the ordinance.
So you keep doing these things because you think it's the right thing to do. But as I said, for 98% other non-Muslim Americans, this is not acceptable. This is only going to spread hatred for Muslims. Muslims need to, as I said, recalibrate their position in Western society. I don't condone this behavior. I'm going to show you something that is repulsive. It is condemnable. I am not going to endorse that. But I worry that more of this is going to happen because, I'm sorry to say, Muslims need a good PR campaign. Muslims need to reach out to the mainstream American society, Western society in general, and say, look, these people do not represent us. But what we see instead, Muslims actually double down, even lipstick Muslims. They come out in defense of these Islamists, these jihadis. So let me show you this video. This video came out where a pissed off American acted in a very un-American way. Let me show it to you.
You don't do Muslims?
No.
Why you don't do Muslims?
Because of your attitude. You suck.
We suck?
You do.
I do.
Because you come to this country and don't behave yourself. You get the hell out of here now!
How do you?
Or I'll call the police.
You don't touch me. Don't touch me. Don't
Well,
touch
then
me.
get out of here.
Don't touch me. Don't touch
Get.
me. Don't touch me.
Get.
So you say you're not doing Muslims?
No.
This is Trump America. You see that? This guy is kicking us out because.
You need to behave yourself. And
How do you know if I behave?
Don't.
How do you know?
Get the hell out of here now.
You sick. You sick.
Get.
You sick.
Get.
As I said, I don't condone this behavior, but I can understand. I can put myself in the shoes of both of these people. I would be horrified. I would feel horrible if somebody treated me like that just because I'm a Muslim from Somalia. But then I can also put myself in the shoes of that person, because what is he looking at? He's looking at the video that I played you before of the Dearborn mayor. He's telling an American, like that guy, like that barber, that you're not welcome in Dearborn, Michigan, because you object to name a street after someone who played a role in killing 260 Americans. How could any American not be upset with that? So those 9 million people that saw that clip, congratulations, you have pissed off a huge percentage of people. This is why the video that I played you earlier, where this guy is going to Muslims and he's harassing them and he's preaching Christianity in his own style. I don't condemn that, by the way. It is what it is. It's crass, maybe, but it's going to get worse. It's going to get worse. You're fighting a losing battle, my dear Muslims. Look what happened in Britain. Their lefty government of Keir Starmer picked a brown Muslim woman to do the dirty, otherwise considered racist work for her, which is to deport illegal migrants. Most of them are Muslims from Syria and Afghanistan and North Africa. Even he is forced to do that. Whether he succeeds or not, that's a totally different thing, because he needs the votes of other lefty, liberal, woke politicians who are probably not going to support her. But that's besides the point. America is a huge beast. America is a huge beast. So it gives me hope, only on a civilizational scale, not at this individual scale. It gives me hope that America is the muscle of the West. We cannot afford to lose America. America, in my opinion, because I'm such a sucker for the Western world order, America must remain the sole superpower of the world. I don't want China to become a superpower. I don't want Russia to become a superpower. I want America to maintain its place for at least another 100 years as the sole superpower of the world. It might not be a sole superpower, but it has to have power, and it has to preserve its values, American values that made America great, not Islamic values that these guys are trying to push on you. So what's happening? Let me show you the backlash, okay? I'm going to quickly go through it. I've yapped a lot. Let me show you what is happening in America. People are going to Dearborn, Michigan. Here is a video. There's a brawl. This guy is called Jake Lang. I have never heard of him, but we're going to see many Jake Langs appear all across America. America cannot be underestimated. Americans are very different from other Western people. Brits were the first one, so I'm not denigrating my British patriots, okay? But Americans are going to, I have a feeling, going to come at it really hard, and they're going to try to tackle that situation now. They're going to nip it in the bud now. They're not going to wait for the Muslim population to become 4% or 6%. There might be a cultural movement within the Muslim world. This might force Muslims to start behaving in an acceptable manner, which is stop talking crap about other religions, stop threatening people that you will murder people if they said anything about your prophet.
Of Birmingham will not tolerate the disrespect of our prophet, peace be upon him, and there will be outcomes from your actions. You will have repercussions for your actions. We have been trained from birth that we must defend the honor of our prophet, and we will lay our life on the line.
If you are going to behave like that, then you're playing with fire. Then you're inviting trouble, because as I said, Americans are very different. This model that was very successful in Europe, in Britain, Germany, France, where they don't have any weapons, it's not going to work in America. So that does give me hope. So have a look at Jake Lang. I have never seen him before.
Hey, yo, guys, I just got pepper spray. You like to look like. Look at this one. Hey! United we stand! Divided did we fall? We are not divided.
You can't stand united with these people. They have different values, they have different goals, they have different image and hopes for the United States of America. And as I said, they only make up 2%, so sorry, they don't get a say. They don't get to decide what America is going to be like. It's not their call. Look at this British woman. She's a commentator. She left the UK. Why? Let's have a listen.
Is this reminiscent of anything that you've seen in London or in the UK?
Yeah, so I left the UK 10 years ago because I saw this taking over. Unfortunately, I don't believe that Islam is compatible with the West. And as much as they want to assimilate and respect the law...
Forget about as much as they want to. They don't want to. They've said it. They don't want to. You heard the mayor of Dearborn. I could play you many other videos. I've played them many times before. Actually, check out a couple of videos before where I also had another video about America. Go check it out. I've played many videos where Muslims themselves are saying, we don't want to integrate, we don't want to assimilate, we don't like your laws, we don't like your values, your fornication, your Western ways of drinking and gambling and whoremongering. That's how they see you. That's how they can box you in. Even lipstick Muslims. That guy, the mayor of Dearborn, doesn't look like the Taliban, doesn't look like Osama bin Laden, doesn't have a big beard. He's a moderate lipstick Muslim. Even he says, I don't like assimilation. So no, they don't want to integrate. They see you as beneath them. That's how they see, which is ironic. Like, look at your countries and look at the United States of America, and you still see them as beneath you. The fact that America is a superpower, it is testament to the fact that Western civilization in general is a superior civilization, okay? And within the Western world, America is a linchpin of that success. American military success, economic success, is entrepreneurship, is discoveries in the fields of medicine, AI, everything is a reflection of American culture and its values. So these Muslims love to say that, oh yeah, we only come here for economic reasons, not for their values. The fact that they're economically more successful than you, it is a reflection of their values and their culture, which you don't have.
Their women are still covered. They still do not have as many rights as Western women. I don't feel safe in these communities if I was walking through there alone. I do feel safe in Poland. Mm-hmm. The problem is the governments, they don't stand up for the people of the country. So my family were in the UK for generations, and we felt abandoned by our government. We felt as if they were protecting the asylum seekers and the migrants over the citizens, the natural-born citizens of the United Kingdom.
Or people who were culturally aligned with UK's values. That's a critical part. She could have been a black Brit, a white Brit, a brown Brit. You can easily tell whether someone is culturally aligned with UK's values or not. This is a cultural argument. This is a value-based argument.
And as Muslim immigration, Islamic immigration has increased in Europe and the UK, so has the crime rates. Mm-hmm. So has rapes, murders, molestation of children. It's very dangerous, and unfortunately, their cultures are vastly different to ours. We need to be extremely careful how we tread and integrate Islam into the West, if at all.
Don't.
But personally, I think that it's happening too fast and at such a huge number that we're unable to actually control it. And we should be able to control our countries. These are our countries, first and foremost. Brits founded America. They brought over Western values. They brought the Constitution. The UK doesn't even have the Constitution, unfortunately, at this point. They are governed by the Human Rights Act from the UN, but that does not protect free speech. So really, the only place in the world that Christians are protected and your free speech is protected is America. And that's why I say God bless the Constitution and God bless America. This is the best country in the world.
It is. I'm biased. I love Australia too. I love England too. But America is important. Very important. America is very unique. So let me show you another clip of that guy, Jake Lang, I think his name is. Christian protesters are being surrounded by Muslims in Dearborn, Michigan, who are screaming Allahu Akbar. We never should have allowed it to get to this point. Send them back. Exactly. You're going to see more calls of that. And as you can see, I can't hide my smile.
I believe they're going to cancel the 6:30 City Hall meeting because everybody's chimping the fuck out. Chimping the fuck out. I don't have bananas. Chill out.
I don't have bananas. Chill out.
I don't have bananas. This is not America. This is an insurgency. They are taking over our country. They're taking over our country. They want us all dead. Let's go, Nick.
Wow, what's happening right now? People are pushing. This is Dearborn, Michigan right now.
Yes, this is Dearborn, Michigan. Any racist is not welcome. No races here. If you can't be peaceful, but every race is welcome. If you're a racist, you're not welcome. At all, we do not. Every race is welcome.
I think this buzzword doesn't work anymore. Clearly, it's not a race issue. It's a cultural issue. It's a behavioral issue. It's their desire to impose their values on people around them. It's that issue. It's not a racist issue. So the more they say you're racist, you're a bigot, those options, I think, well and truly have exhausted, and they don't have an impact anymore. American social media, I've looked at it, it's much worse. It's much worse. British people are still a little bit, trying to tread the line very carefully when they're attacking Islam and Muslims, even anti-Islam people. But Americans I've seen, they have no filter. And what you just saw, I have a feeling a lot more of that is going to happen. And the Muslim Brotherhood is going to be banned by Secretary Marco Rubio. Well done. And there's a change of wind. Look, democracy can be really slow. It can be very disappointing at times because we don't see things happen, but it's the people. Better narratives end up oiling the wheels of democracy. Those slow-moving wheels of democracies, they do turn. And when they turn, we see real change. As I said, we're starting to see something, or at least an attempt. Whether they succeed in Britain or not with this illegal migration issue, that's a totally different topic because Labour, a lefty liberal political party, is not designed for that. But at least it's a win because there is a recognition that something has to be done. Luckily for us, luckily for the entire Western world, Americans are watching this very carefully. I always wondered, are they watching it? But they are watching it, which is a good thing. And Muslims would need another 10 years to double their population to 4%, and then another 10 to go to 8%. They need about 20 years, but they played their cards way too soon. I don't think they're going to succeed. There is going to be a major cultural shift in America, the way Muslims behave. Muslims will have to distance themselves from these antagonizers. They're going to have to devise new rules of engagement. They cannot shame people. They cannot broadcast their prayer. They cannot create Muslim-only cities in Dallas or in Texas, Epic City. I don't know. It was somewhere in Texas. Sorry, you can't do that. And interesting times ahead.